Hi, in this presentation, we will present you our research entitled Toward the Recommendation System for Human Resource, proposition of a new model to measure competencies using dimensionality reduction. One of the most challenging problems in the human resource domain, especially in the digital service company, is to affect the best profile to the adequate projects and predict the success of the collaborator than the success of delivery and customers satisfaction. In this presentation, we introduce the objective of our research. First, propose a new model of criteria to measure collaborators' competence. This criteria will be used in a HP method in order to give a score for each collaborator. Propose a recommendation system for ranking matching collaborators' profile using content-based and collaborative filtering. Predict the success of collaborator in the new project assignment. The structure of our presentation is as follows. First, we present the problem proposed solution, then literature review, and we continue with presenting our contribution. We conclude the final section by a conclusion and perspective of our research. The main points related to our problem are the following. First, how to affect the best profile to the adequate project. Second, how to evaluate the collaborator's competencies. 3. How to predict the success of the collaborator in the job offer of the new project. We propose the following solution for our problem. First, proposition of a new model of criteria to measure collaborators' competencies. Second, proposition of recommendation system for ranking matching collaborators' profile. We present the literature review of the collective competence. The notion of competence has been taken into account in several research related to the human resource. Individual competence is a combination of knowledge, skills, and abilities of an individual in a given situation. If we want to measure the competence of an individual, we must measure it in relation to this contribution to the group. In this reason, we know that collective competence is associated with collective intelligence, shared representation, interpersonal communication, cooperation, learning. Many studies have focused on the measure of competencies within a team. Dynamic and Kelly Minaj have developed an instrument to measure the competence collective of an IT team. This study focused on the characteristic of this team. This research is based on a quantitative study whose data were collected through a survey with 110 employees. The results indicate that four factors can measure the collaborators' competence: proactivity, cooperation, communication, interpersonal relationship. Model of trust. Trust presents a basic element for success and the group performance. According to Rochelle caliber and related to the trust model proposed by Mayer, David Shorman, the evaluation of trust is based on this element. Technical competence, integrity, benevolence. According to this study, we note that the instrument proposed by Dynamic is relatively limited. Many factors can influence the collective competence, especially the factors related to the trust model. Therefore, we propose the model that assembles these criteria to have a better definition of how to measure a collective competence. We associate in our proposed model the last model presented before. In order to test the validity of the model of measure collective competence, we proceed by a survey established in an IT service company. The data are analyzed by the PCA method in order to determine factors of measured collective competence. The different steps of this study are as follow. Description of the work team, the conception of the hypotheses of the survey and collect data, data analysis, result and discussion. As we see in schematization, the population is 200 employees of an IT company. The hypotheses of the survey include and the hypotheses that are present, the variables, include the description of the attitude and collaborative behavior of the IT team. We have 43 hypotheses that constitute the variables of our dataset. The opinion on the survey hypotheses are the five level on the Likert scale, 1 to 5. 1 for strongly disagree and 5 for strongly agree. After the collection and treatment of data, we analyze it through a PCA method. PCA method is a principal component analysis, is a powerful tool for information compression and synthesis. Very useful for when there is a large quantitative data to be processed and interpreted. This method is a factorial analysis. It produces factors that present a linear combination of the initial, hierarchical, and independent variables. We present here the division of the variables on this factor. This is the result of our analysis of data through the PCA method. We conclude that collective competence can be measured by the following criteria: technical competence, integrity, proactivity, cooperation, communication, benevolence, interpersonal relationship. The second part of our contribution is the proposition of recommendation system to assign collaborator to a job offer of the new project. In our approach, we will develop a recommendation system that allows recommending potential collaborator using content-based filtering, target relevant candidate profile using the information provided by the recruiter, and collaborative filtering, score given by the other project managers. The principal parts of this second contribution are the automatic matching of the subject and required competencies of the job offer in the new project with the technical competencies of the collaborators. Ranking each collaborator by the score given by the last project manager using the AHP method. In this diagram, we present the principal part that is taken into account in our recommendation system. The first point of our this part of contribution is the matching between competencies, experience of profile, and job offer is realized by the following: extraction of the useful information from job offer, like job title, competencies, years of experience, and on the other hand, profiles research using indexation and full text search for profile using the Lucene engine. This is an example of query provided by Lucene engine. The second point of this part is the proposition of function to give a score for collaborators. This function is developed by AHP method. AHP method is a process that is characterized by its way of determining the weight of criteria by binary combination of each level of hierarchy. The principle of the HP method is decomposition of the problem into a hierarchical structure, binary combination, determination of priority, synthesis of priority, consistency of judgment. In this we present here the final the function of our recommendation system. The criteria are the criteria defined in the first part of our contribution, the technical competence, integrity, proactivity, cooperation, benevolence, interpersonal relationship, and communication. The weight related to the criteria will be defined by the judgment of the experts. We consulted the project manager to give us the weighting for each criterion as presented in the table below. This is an example of the weighting for each, the binary weighting for each criteria. In results, we have the weight for each criteria. Thereafter, we will proceed to the evaluation of our recommendation system. We started the manual evaluation with the following strategy. The strategy is the following. A new project with a job offer, we present in the table below some collaborators assigned to the new project. We have, for example, the business analyst, Java consultant, .NET consultant. First, the strategy is as follows. First, we ask the project managers of the last project to give us a score evaluation for each collaborator based on a HP function. For the collaborator who have required competence for the new project, we recommend it based on the score given by the last project manager. We have the opinion of the new manager about the collaborator's performance. And after the analysis of our recommendation proposed by our approach and the satisfaction of the new project manager, we present an example of results. In this table, we present an example of some recommendation. We have some collaborators who are recommended by our system and are not performant in the new project, and others who are who are not recommended by our system but are performant in the new project. And finally, other collaborators who are recommended by our system and are performant in the new project assignments. After analysis of the evaluation's results, almost 80 collaborators, the accuracy obtained is about 80%. This first result is encouraging. We must continue with other cases to conclude the improvement that we can replicate to the recommendation system. Finally, we conclude that in our contribution, we have proposed a new criteria to evaluate the collaborators in the project, and we have proposed a recommendation system based on collaborative and content-based filtering. This new model helps us to predict the new success, the success of the employees in the adequate project, and then ensure the delivery's performance and customer satisfaction. The limit of our proposed recommendation system is the cold start problem. The perspective of this limit is to take into account the data of the collaborator's profile from a social network like LinkedIn, Viadeo. We must also take into account the progression of the competence ontology for matching job offer and profile, and propose a new approach to the recommendation of a new CV candidate for the e-requirements. Thank you for your attention, and thank you very much.